automotive applications. The application in automotive brake systems, engine piston and connecting rods, body, bumper and EV including the chassis. This is an application of composite materials is in automotive applications. So you know that the maximum benefits of the composite material is strength to weight ratio, and apart from the energy savings is also nearly necessary for various applications. In the case of an automotive applications, it is going to be play a vital role because of the fuel consumption for energy during that applications. So it's making the energy with the help of consuming the fuels in terms of an fossil fuel or anything. So in order to reduce at the same time, that should be ensured that enormous amount of strength and the safety aspects. So each one of them different requirements of material selections in an automotive industries. You know the automobiles have a transmission system, braking system, and then for it overall structural ability that is called as body, and impact resistivity by means of the bumper and other aspects. And for the new trends of EV, that is for electrical vehicles, including their structures, all other aspects. The last session we have seen about the energy developing materials or energy absorbing materials something. So the EV including it can able to act as a structural member, at the same time it can producing the energy like a battery. So that's why the EV chassis are made up of something related to the more amount of energy absorption systems. So today's class we have seen about the composites application in the brake systems and for engine pistons, connecting rod and then bumper. EV including chassis are already we have a lot amount of discussion made in the last class. So I leave that, and remaining portion we are going to be looking for. Okay, in application in the automotive brake systems, what is the real necessary? So today's technology is need for the speed, also safety as well. So for that declaration is needed engines to maximum efficiency for maintaining the speed, and brakes of latest technology is going to be used. So what is meant by brake? Brake means whenever we required, we try to stop the vehicles or reduce the speed of the vehicle systems. So that brake system are required to stop the vehicle within the smallest possible distance by converting the kinetic energy into that heat energy, which is dissipated to the atmosphere. And this is the main requirement of the brake systems. So what is the real requirement of the materials used for those? So the brake must be strong enough to stop the vehicle within the possible distance in an energy. That is a safety in aspects. Brakes should have a good anti-fade characteristics. Also on constant prolonged application, its effectiveness should not be decreases, because it's continuously going to be applied, and in unknowing properties it should not be failed, uh, and should be working for the most reliable structures. So then and there we won't be able to predict that the failure of the systems. So we imagine that the system going to be in the safest mode. It means it should not decreases or degrade in its characteristics. And the stopping systems of the vehicle normally depend upon it is a condition of the road surface, condition of the tire tread, and coefficient of friction between the tire tread and road surfaces, coefficient of friction between the brake disc and drum and brake pad, and braking force applied by the driver. So these are the some of the requirements of a braking system and its material. So what are the different types of brakes are there? And especially for automobile industries, we have a service brake, parking brakes, and for the construction is drum brakes and disc brakes. And for method of actuation is maybe a mechanical actuator and then hydraulic actuator and electrical actuator or air actuators. And extra braking effects some more times we need for servo brakes and power operated brakes. So the purpose of the brake is, yes, service brakes, maybe the parking brakes. So service brakes may be used in a drum brakes or disc brakes. Parking brakes are used in the disc brakes, and mechanical actuation system, or hydraulic actuation system, and the electrical actuation system. And the effort going to be improved with the help of servo systems also. So how the disc brakes are working? So this is a wheel. The wheel is attached here in the hub. The hub is a rotating member. So this is the caliber which can be controlled the amount of forces applied on them. Whenever you are applying the pistons, so the brake pads which are connected with that is going to be make a contact with the rotating member in a rotor. That's why it's going to be reduce that the speed of the vehicle with the help of the frictional forces. This is the simple concepts for applying that or reducing the energy of the systems in order to make in a effective manner. Okay. So what is the earlier study they are using? Normally they are using a grey cast iron disc in a heavy vehicle systems, but the main drawback is it have a sufficient amount of energy absorption. At the same time, it have an enormous amount of weight. So in order to reduce the acceleration drastically, we need to have more amount of weight in structure. So at the same time, it uses more amount of fuel and has high gyroscopic effect. So the grey cast iron disc are heavy, which are reduces the acceleration, uses more fuel and has high gyroscopic effect. And the recent scenario, the application of ceramic material, because the ceramic have highest amount of year resistance property and it have more amount of thermal expansion coefficients, so that will best suitable for and high speed applications like Formula 1 cars which are all moving around 300 miles per hour or something. So we are need to be stopped suddenly and make a rotation or any other aspects. So in that case the brake should not be failed at any cost. So the ceramic disc brake weight lesser than the carbon and carbon disc, but have some same frictional values used in the Formula 1 racing cars. So it may called as a CDP, ceramic disc brake, good at wet condition, but carbon disc breakers fails in wet condition. It means during the application of the forces, it should be so dry in condition, so it can be applied another the same amount of frictional effect even in both the conditional itself. The weight of CDP, that is ceramic disc brake, are 61% lighter than reduces a 20 kg of the car. And apart from, we can save the fuel, resulting in better mileage, improve the shock absorption, and unsprung masses. We can add more safety features instead of the current weight. So this is an advantage of using composites disc brakes. And how we have to manufacture the composite disc brake. In earlier days, these disc brakes were made from the conventional brittle ceramic material. And Daimler Chrysler made a carbon fiber reinforced brake disc to avoid the brittle property actually, because ceramics is have a more amount of brittle, even though it can able to withstand high amount of forces. When there is a sudden impact, it's going to be failed. At the same time, it have a more amount of thermal coefficient of expansion. So by the property enhancement, we need to be add the carbon fiber along with that ceramic fiber reinforcement. So to avoid the brittle property, first they are used a long carbon fiber, then the short carbon will increase the efficiency. So short carbon fiber plus carbon powder plus resin mix of at 1000 degrees Celsius, sintering it and stable carbon frameworks are generated. So after cooling, the ground like wood brake disc obtained in its shapes, add silicon to the required shapes and insert into the furnace for the second time. The pores in the carbon frame work absorb the silicon melt. Matrix carbon reinforced to the liquid silicon. After cooling, grey disc brake is ready. So this is the simple procedure for generating the brake systems from the carbon ceramic disc brake along with the carbon fiber reinforcement to increase the to reduce the brittleness of the material, and it can be added with the silicon for improving some amount of frictional ability. So that resin is normally thermoplastic resin and thermosetting resins also. The ferrolimiter use the metal metric composite for disc and alloy of aluminum for lightness and silicon carbide for the strength. The ceramic additive made the disc highly abrasive and have a low unstable coefficient of friction. So these are the various companies they are using developing the material. Daimler, Chrysler and Frenolimiter and Sulzer Medcolimiter. These are a specific ceramic coating developed for the spraying technology. So this is actually used in Porsche has developed a new high performance disc brakes with the help of an CDP, that is ceramic disc brake with involute cooling ducts for an efficient cooling, offers the braking response of adding stability, weight and service life. And that is called per high performance disc brake PCCP ensure the maximum deceleration from without any particular pressure on the brake pedal. Its responses under the wet condition is high. New braking lining cannot absorb the water. The cross-drilled brake ties help to optimize the responses of the brake systems. In the process involved the carbon powder resins along with the carbon fiber furnace about 1700 degrees Celsius is a high vacuum process. So, what is the advantage of using this type of PCCP? 50% lighter than the metal disc brakes reduces the 20 kg of car overall weight. In the case in the train of 36 disc brakes saving around 6 tons of weight. So apart from that, saving the fuel also reduce the unsprung masses. That's high frictional value deceleration between 100 to 0 kilometers in 3 seconds. Taoist Nokia is 100 to 0 kilometer in 4 seconds. So these are the various members with those they are applying, designing this type of brake systems, Porsche and Dow, and resistance up to 2000 degrees Celsius and still runs more than 300,000 kilometers need not be changed that composite disc brake. No wear, maintenance free, and heat and rust resistance, heavy commercial can break the safety overs. So these are some of the applications of the ceramic disc brake action. Okay. So up to that we are giving the smallest input about the application of the composite material and how the performance of the braking system are improved actually. Normally the brake is a composite material made up of more number of materials which has to enhance the property various required properties, because the brake is a most important system for safety aspects in automotive industries. Next part is actually energy device which also carries a more amount of weight in particularly in automotive sector. In order to reduce this weight, we are looking for a very sophisticated or high strength material and high corrosive material for the engine pistons. So it is continuously reciprocate in and around. So that weight reduction, improved fatigue resistance and enhanced engine performance can be done by means of application of composite material in the connecting rod. They are particularly beneficial in application where the weight and inertia are the critical value, because in order to get more amount of inertia the weight is really required. You know the inertia is purely depend upon the mass, mr omega squared or something. So m is a mass and omega is purely rotating speed. If the m is high, the inertia force is going to be greater in value. So they are particularly beneficial in application where the weight and inertia are critical in nature, like in high performance engine or vehicles where the fuel efficiency is also going to be the priority. So most probably it can be done by means of aluminum matrix composite material and titanium based composite material are the common of between the two choices. Then the two things we need to be improved. One is a improved fatigue resistance and enhance the engine performance. The fatigue resistance of the composite material, particularly those with strong fibers like carbon or glass, exhibit a high fatigue resistance. This is important because the connecting rods experience cyclic stresses during the engine operations, and the fatigue resistance crucial for preventing the failure. So that the fatigue resistance is most important in the case of the connecting rod materials. The enhanced engine performance reduce the weight and inertia forces can lead to the higher engine RPM and improve the fuel efficiency. Composite rod can also contribute to reduce the engine noises also. The ability to the tailored composite property like stiffness and strength allow for optimized design for specific application due to their lightweight nature and good mechanical properties. So these are the application of the composite in a connecting rod. So there are two different types of composite material, especially metal metric composites we are using. Nowadays people are looking for the polymer metric composites also, but some of the drawbacks it will be looking for. So that this still there are in the research perspective. So aluminum metric composites, where aluminum is the base metal, offer a good balance of strength and lightweight and good heat resistant characteristics. They can be reinforced with metals like silicon carbide particulates and other fibers. So it will enhance the other properties which may be called as an fatigue resistance and durability. And titanium composites offer exceptional strength and corrosion resistance, making it suitable for demanding the engine environment. How it is being manufactured? Various techniques like winding the fibers, pre-bug layup and injection molding are used for create the composite in the connecting rod. Okay. Okay. What is the real requirement of the connecting rod? The composite materials are generally costlier and compared to the conventional material, but still their use became increasingly popular while because of various significant properties. What are these properties? Non-corrosiveness, non-conductiveness, long life, design flexibility, low maintenance, and flexible in nature. Okay, so these are the need of a composite and the benefit of composite used in the conducting rod also. Carbon fiber reinforced composite have the 5 times stronger than 1020 grade steel actually. So one fifth of the weight it can hold. Though the aluminum 6061 grade is much nearer to the weight to the carbon fiber composite, but the composite can have a twice the modulus and apart 7 times for the strength. So that the materials are classified into different categories like metals, polymers, ceramics, and inorganic classes and the composite fabrications. At high temperature, metals lose their strength. The high polymeric materials in the general can withstand still lower temperature. So that ceramic and polymers are able to withstand the high temperature, good strength, and thermal expansion. So these are the properties. It can be enhanced by means of adding some other elements and to withstand even at the high temperature region also. Okay. The last one is actually a pumper. Pumper is the most important member in that automotive industry to in order to avoid to transmit the more amount of forces while there is a collision between the unwanted things, right? So researchers has shown that the best way to improve the fuel efficiency to reduce the overall weight of the car without sacrificing the safety of the passengers. The use of composite in the production of car parts have proven to be able to balance the reducing weight. So the car bumper is one of the unique area that one. So what is a bumper? The bumper is safety system used to counteract low speed collision. It is placed in the car body and designed to prevent or reduce the physical damages to the front and rear end of the car during the impact collisions. What are the requirements of the bumper materials? So the first and foremost is able to absorb more energy while in collisions. The energy easy for large scale manufacturing and high resistance to rust and lightweight in structures and low cost. So these are the basic requirements. So this diagram which will be indicated that simple automotive systems, automotive or automobile, in which rear bumper and front bumper absorb more amount of energy while there is a collision side. So these are the some of the things I want to discuss with you. That's all. I will show one other paper. That paper which are all they are using the more amount of studies related to the bumper and its applications. So